Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how to fix broken LED lights. Alright, so welcome back to the channel, and if you're new to the channel, how about hitting that subscribe button so you get notified every time I produce a new DIY video, tool review video, car repair video, home improvement video, whatever I produce. I try to keep my channel interesting with a variety of different things. So I hope you hit that subscribe button and join the bunch of the people here. Anyway, so today we're going to deal with how to fix broken LED lights. Now, I know the reason I'm doing this video is because I know a lot of people out there are switching over from incandescent and fluorescent lights to LED lights. This is a perfect subject right here. Now, a lot of people have been sold on the idea that LED lights are the best thing since sliced bread. And they're good, but you have to take everything with a grain of salt. A lot of things that you're going to hear about LED lights are hype or sales pitch. For example, one of them is that LED lights last forever. Well, they don't. Okay, now that some years are passing by, people are starting to realize that LEDs don't last forever. I remember when LEDs first came out, that was one of the sales pitches. It's like, a regular incandescent bulb will last you 2 years. LEDs will last you 50 years. No, it doesn't work that way. They do break down. In fact, we're starting to find that LEDs break down sometimes much sooner than regular incandescent or fluorescent lights. And I'll explain why as we go through the video. Because the other lights are much simpler, so there's less to break down. LEDs are more complicated, so there's more to break down, and that's the problem right there. Okay, I found this light the other day. Somebody was throwing it away because it's broken. It doesn't work. So I grabbed it because I thought it would be a perfect candidate to make a video like this. All my lights are still working, so I didn't have one of my own to use for this. So somebody else's discarded LED will help as a candidate to show you guys what we need to do. Now, this is a regular LED 4-foot shop light. Okay, this is the kind of stuff you can get on eBay, Amazon, or you can go to Home Depot, Harbor Freight, Lowe's, and buy it at the brick and mortar if you like. And I don't know how much they run at Home Depot. I didn't look that up, but I know at Harbor Freight these are on discounted price, if you want to call it that, all the time for around $20. So let's use $20 as a benchmark. All right, so let's say this light costs 20 bucks. And this light is a fairly new light. I mean, you can tell by the condition of it, it's not that old. It's a Lithonia lighting. Let me turn this around here. See if you guys can see there. It says Lithonia lighting on there. Okay, that's what this one is. I don't know where it came from. It doesn't really matter. But you can tell by the condition of it, it's not a very old light. It is still fairly recent. So let's say 3, 4, 5 years old, and it already broke. Now, the thing about this is that, like I said, there's more electronics in here to run the LEDs, because LEDs are a funny little thing. They're, light diodes and so forth. And what they do is they'll take as much energy as you put into them until they burn out. So you need electronics to be able to level out that energy so that the LED will shine at a proper rate without burning itself out. So that's why there's more involved in an LED light. So let's take this one apart and I'll show you what's inside in case you don't know. Now, this light, there's two parts, the outer part and the inner part, and they're riveted together. So I undid the rivets to be quicker in demonstration. So we take this apart. This is the part that holds the LEDs. And I'll show you right here. You can see right through there, you just have the aluminum housing, you have the plastic light diffuser, and then you have the LED strip sitting inside there. I can't hold it very well, but you can see right there. You see what I'm talking about. Those are the LEDs sitting inside there in a strip. Okay, the lights still work. I'll tell you that right now. So this light, if you chose to fix it, great, you save yourself 20 bucks. Let's say you don't want to fix it, you want to get yourself another light. You can always repurpose the LEDs, okay? So don't just throw them away, because the LEDs are still good, they're still usable, you can repurpose them. So you take this apart, two parts. Inside you find the other part of the housing, and you find this. It looks like a ballast. Looks like a ballast for a fluorescent light, but it's not. I'll take it out of here. This is what they call an LED driver. I don't know if you can read it on there. I'll show you some of it so you can look at the specs. LED driver. Now, this isn't a driver like what's in your computer. There's no fancy software in here. There's nothing going on in here. It's just electronics, almost like a ballast. But if you really want to simplify it, let's put it that way. If you really want to simplify it, this LED driver is nothing more than a fancy transformer. All it does is it takes the energy from the wall, 120 volts AC, and it converts it down to clean, straight line DC energy that the LEDs will like and will shine properly. So you can go to Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever, or eBay or Amazon, and get yourself another LED driver. Pop it back in here, your light is good to go. But the funny thing is, unlike fluorescent lights where the ballast is rather inexpensive, these are not cheap. I looked at Home Depot to see what they ran for one of these. They do have replacements, but another LED driver at Home Depot is like $15 to $17. You can get a whole new light for 20 bucks. So $17 for $3 more, you bought yourself a brand new light. That doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? So that goes to prove that the most expensive part of this whole light is this LED driver right here. The housing is cheap, aluminum, tin, whatever it is, probably some kind of tin or something. Yeah, it's magnetic, so it's not aluminum. So some kind of tin or cheap metal, probably what they make the gutters out of. It probably comes out just like a gutter, pre-bent and all that. And the LED strips themselves and the plastic diffuser here are pennies on the dollar. This light probably the cheapest. Everything is dirt cheap except for this right here. So what do? You throw it away, you buy yourself another one. I guess you can do that. But if you want to use this and repurpose it, like I said, for something else, what did I just say a minute ago? This is a fancy transformer. Now, if you're like me, you hang on to stuff that either gets discarded, is no longer useful, until you can find another use for it. And I have a drawer full of old transformers from other things that stopped working. When something stops working, generally I keep the transformer until I find another use for it, because the transformer is still good. Most people throw everything away. So let's get this out of the way. We don't need it anymore. But before we do, there's one thing you need to do. Before you start hunting around for a transformer, you have to look at the specs on here as to what the LED on that particular unit that you're looking at requires. This one says right here, DC output, I'm reading it to you, 12 to 36 volts DC, 0.7 amp, 25 watts max. And then red positive, blue negative. That's what that says right there. I don't know if the camera will catch it or not, but I'm showing it to you right there. So that's what we have to find. We have to be able to match that as close as possible to be able to get this running again. Put this off to the side. Okay, we don't need this housing. Let me get rid of that. So we have the LEDs in here, and we can take them out if we wanted to. Like I showed you, they're just screwed in place there. They have little screws holding them in place. But let's leave them inside the housing for now. Let's leave them inside here for now. We have the wiring coming out of the LEDs here. And I'm a little short of space here. How am I going to do this? Let me see. Let's put it this way. Okay, that's better. So we needed that LED driver for some reason is rather odd because 12 to 36 volts DC, that's a very wide spread right there. Most things are much narrower spread than that. So that doesn't tell us exactly what they want. So the thing with LEDs is we don't want to give it too much power or we'll burn it out. So how about we start down close to the bottom end of it, 12. I have a lot of 12 volt transformers, but they're all in good condition and I don't want to have to cut off the ends to, do the testing here. I happen to have this old Black & Decker transformer that, I don't know if you can read it or not, but it puts out 18 volts. And it's obviously seen better days. It got a little bit used, abused, and maybe burned, but it still works. So this one, the tip was no good, so I took it off. And we have some bare wires, so we can do some testing here. So let's, 18 volts is pretty close to 12. We're not going to burn it out. We obviously know 36 is the maximum that this will take. So 12 is a good place to, 18 is a decent enough place to start. You don't want to burn out the LEDs, so let's give it a try. And these, I don't know on here, let me see, this one does not give details as to which is positive and which is negative. It doesn't clarify which pole is which, so we just have to experiment. The LEDs do require a positive and negative. They do require an orientation, but you won't burn it out if you put it wrong. The only thing that will happen is it won't light up. So if it doesn't light up, switch them around, all right? Let's give this a test. We'll just throw these together on here and see what we can do. All right, so I'll just hold these separate so they don't touch, and let's plug it in and see what we do. And there you go. You see, the LEDs work, but they're rather dim. So obviously, 18 is the bottom of the spectrum, and it can take more energy. So they're flickering and all that because they're not getting enough power to really, shine them up. And the frame rate on the camera is going to throw it off, so it probably flickers on the camera, so don't worry about that. So let's find a better transformer. Okay, that goes to prove right there, a simple transformer will get these lights running again. Let's try something different. And I got lucky on the first try there that I got the positive and negative correct. All right, so 18 is a little too low. Let's get you out of the way here. So I happen to look around in my stash, and this is the closest to the top end that I have. This one, you probably won't be able to read it, but because it's just imprinted in there. I can read it, but you can't. This one is 30 volts. Okay, remember we said 36 is the max. This one's 30. I think I have some other ones, but they're much higher than this, like, I don't know, 60 volts or something like that. So this is the safest one. I'm not going to go over the 36. Let's plug this in. We have some bare contacts here because this is used to slide into something. So we don't need to tear it apart or anything. We'll just test on these bare contacts and see what we can do. And I already know which is the positive on this because I tested it. But I'm going to show you guys, just so you know, if you make a mistake, nothing happens. See? Positive and negative. I'm touching the terminal. It's not lighting up because I have it backwards. But it didn't burn it out, right? Flip it over, and you're going to see right now. There you go. So 30 volts is sufficient to light this up. And it's, flickering a bit because, like I said, the frame rate and so forth, and I don't even have the terminals properly attached to there. I'm just touching it. But you can see, with a simple transformer, I can bring this light back to life. And that's what you can do also. So, if I wanted to, I can open up this transformer, simple little screw right there, open it up, find the proper terminals, secure these wires internally, properly, plug this in anywhere, and I just saved myself 20 bucks by keeping this light alive instead of throwing it in the garbage. I mean, we have enough garbage in the garbage landfills, don't we? Let's try not to dump more stuff in there if we really don't have to. If you can save it, save it. Save yourself some money and save the landfill from getting more filled up. I'm not a crazy environmentalist or any of that, but some things kind of make sense. Why make more garbage when you don't have to? All right, so there you go. A simple transformer that I don't even know what it belonged to, but it would have been thrown away. I kept it. Finally, the solution for it, I can make this light usable under any circumstance I want. I can either put it back inside the housing, because this will probably, this might fit in there, it might not. I don't know. I could find a way for it. I could probably cut out a little piece on here. It doesn't fit perfectly, but I'm sure if I were to cut out a section here, I could slip it inside there and make it work. So I can make this shop light work again, put it back together, and have a perfect shop light for no cost to me whatsoever. So there you go. That's how to fix a broken LED light. Now I'm going to show you another interesting one that I did not too long ago, and it goes perfect with this. So let me bring that one over. Now here's another one. Here's another LED decorative kind of a light. Now this is a solar light. Okay, you can see right there it has solar panels on top, and normally it has a couple of these little rechargeable AA batteries on the inside. And had these lights for a little while, and they work great at first. I mean, the solar panels would charge it up during the day, And at night, you get a nice little LED lighting. It's like a flickering light. It's kind of, it's supposed to be like a candle, okay? So it gives you that flame candle look at night. And it acts kind of like a night light, let's say. It lights up just enough so you can see, so you're not walking around in pitch black darkness. And my wife likes it because, you know, when everything is dark at night, she can get up and walk around and not have to turn on the lights. So that's pretty good. So I have these lights. I have a couple of them. And over time, they're not that old, okay? Just like everything, they're not that old. But over time, the electronics inside seems to go bad. The LED is still good, but the electronics inside go bad. The solar panels are still good, but there's some electronics in here. This being a simple light, a much lower wattage light. Remember, it's only 2 batteries. This does not have a big fancy driver inside. It has a little circuit board in here with a couple of resistors and capacitors and stuff. And that's what takes the power from the solar panels. It feeds it down to here and it controls it, charges up the batteries. It controls the flow going into the battery and the flow going out of the batteries, so it, you know, does what it needs to do at night and lights up. Charges during the day, lights up at night. That cycle over and over and over. So something's gone bad inside, and it doesn't want to light up. Even when I cover it up, it doesn't light up. So I could have thrown these away. I have 2 of them. I have the fixed one right next door right here, and I'll show you that in a minute. So you could throw this away and say, meh, the heck with it. It's garbage, throw it away. But I don't ever give up that easily. I try and try and try until sometimes I have to throw up my hands and say I can't do it. But I always, generally speaking, I find a solution. So I said to myself, I tested it first to see, are the batteries no good? I tried different batteries. It still did the same thing. Because originally when it started, it would charge up during the day and last all night long. And then by 7 and 8 in the morning, it would turn itself off when the sun came out. Perfect, no problem. Then it started to be less and less and less. And then it got to the point where it would turn on at night and an hour later it would turn off. So it didn't even last an hour before it shut itself off. So I tested the batteries, it wasn't the batteries. I tested the solar panels, they're still putting out power. So the electronics in here are not charging up the batteries properly. So that what are you going to do? Get another circuit board and stuff and try to figure out what portion in there is no good? That's too much trouble, expense of the parts, soldering, unsoldering. I guess too complicated. So my solution was do a little bit of math. These AA batteries are 1.5 watts each. These are 1.2 volts. Most of the regular ones that you buy for, whatever you're using them, the non-rechargeable, they're generally about 1.5. So 1.2, 1.5, not going to make any real difference. So let's say 1.5. 1.5 each, that's 3 volts, right? So what I did was I hunted around and I found a little transformer that I had that puts out 3 volts. And all I did was open it up, hook up the little transformer to it, on the circuit board where it said LED positive, LED negative. I opened this up, took the 2 wires, soldered it right onto the board, and what happens is when you plug it in at night, you get a nice little flickering light that lights up the hallway, keeps it lit all night long, and I don't need to worry about it. I mean, the power consumption at 3 volts, that's 2 batteries. That's nothing at all. So instead of throwing the light away, going through a lot of crazy experimentation trying to figure out what's wrong with the electronics in here, I just took a little throwaway transformer, 3 volts, which most things are not going to take something that small. This must have been something pretty tiny that took this little transformer. Oh, it's a Canon. So it's probably like a label maker or something like that. Probably something very, very small. And I repurposed it. Now my wife is happy. She has a little night light in case she gets up at night to get a drink of water or what have you. And she doesn't stumble and fall and hurt herself. So there you go. Took 2 unusable things, put them together and made them into 1 usable item. So I hope this goes to show you that you can repurpose things and make the most out of them so that instead of costing you money, it saves you money. Hang on to old stuff like all these old parts and it'll save you stuff in the long run. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Give me a thumbs up if you did. And any questions or comments or criticisms, put them in the comments down below. Love to hear your opinion on this. If you have anything else that you've done similar to this, let me know about it. I'd love to hear it. And I always love to learn from you guys. Whatever information you want to put in the comments, it's always useful to me too. So it goes both ways. I teach you stuff, you help me out. It's great. Anyway, so hope you subscribe, and I'll see you guys back here on the next video. Talk to you later. Bye-bye for now. Hey, how about some bonus footage? Hey, if you're curious like me and you want to know what's going on inside this fancy driver, how about we tear it apart? All right, let's use some muscle and... Okay, I lied. I took it apart with a screwdriver. But here we go. All right, let me get this out of here. And hold on. I don't want to cut myself. This metal is kind of sharp. There we go. So there you go, your fancy driver. Tear it apart. And inside, it's just like I said. It's just a... Let me take the plastic covering off of this. It's all potted together. So you can see it is just a transformer. That's what transforms the power. And then all sorts of electronics in here all potted together. You see a circuit board in there. I can take apart some of this. Let me see here. Going in the garbage anyway, doesn't really matter. The potting is already coming apart. You would think it would be in better condition. And you can see, I don't know if that's staining right there from the potting or if that's some kind of something burning. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell, but that's some kind of failure right there. Maybe, possibly, you see a big capacitor right there. This was grounded off to the body, same as over here, grounded to the body, and another capacitor in there. A whole lot of different things potted with the plastic in here, and this is what you get. I can't really show you a lot. There's, resistors there, capacitors, two of them, one there, probably two over here as well, and all sorts of different resistors and stuff like that in there. And what they do is, you see the bulk of it is over here on this side, because they're taking the dirty AC energy, bringing it down, straightening it out, taking all the noise and stuff like that out, goes to the power transformer, cleans it up a little bit even more, puts it out to the LEDs. So that's all this is doing. This is your fancy driver right here. Nothing special, just a lot of electronics. And this is what goes bad most of the time with LED lights, is the electronics. The lights themselves, the diodes themselves are pretty good, but the electronics are garbage. They probably go really, really cheap on this stuff, and something fails. It can be one little thing like that one right there. That could fail and the whole thing is junk. So one little component out of the 100 components in here, one fails and the rest of it's all garbage. So that's the problem you run into with LEDs. So there you go. There's your autopsy of your LED driver. Hope you enjoyed that.